I see God in you. I wanna say I finally found my strength and the light that shines in you. It's what I see. I see God in you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Talk Shalom. This is ProverbsGuy, and also in the house tonight is your favorite host, your dream guy. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Moses, the only man in our faith who broke all 10 commandments at once. Brian, would you like to introduce our guest tonight?
Hi, this is your dream guy, Brian Newman, and I have a special guest tonight. Is Tierney Dubi, who is a professional health coach, and she's on our Dream Helper Network. And we're happy to have her and learn some stuff. Tierney is also a member of the Torah community, so we can cover questions about medical stuff, scientific stuff, but also the Bible diet, because she's familiar with that too.
So thank you guys for having me on.
All right, so if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and get into the questioning. What made you want to be a health coach? Did you just walk through an aisle in Walmart one day, you look around and thought, I'm so much healthier than all of these people?
So no, that would
sugar
be
pagans.
Health has always been a big part of my life. My mom was very health conscious with us kids growing up. And we definitely got into studying things more when my grandmother passed away very quickly from pancreatic cancer when I was 14. So that definitely made me a little bit more health conscious as I take after that grandma. And then fast forward to last year, I was praying about it because I currently have a house cleaning business, and I was praying and saying, okay, God, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. Please show me like what it is that you have for me. And the doors kind of opened for me to attend IIN, which is Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is a fantastic program. It was a year-long certificate program. And a lot of it I already kind of knew because I've been studying holistic health for the past 15 years of my life. But I realized I probably need to actually get a certificate in this because most people aren't going to just believe some of the stuff I say just because I've learned it randomly on the internet. I want to actually have scientific proof for what I'm saying. And so I did the program last year. I absolutely loved it. And I'm super excited to be starting this next chapter of my life.
Amen. So you clean houses and bodies. So top
There
to
we
bottom,
go.
you are all about renewal.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
All right, so let me paint you a picture. As a professional, you answer. If you don't mind, we'll play this game. Okay. I'm at least 100 pounds overweight. I drink maybe 8 ounces of water a day.
Are you talking about me again, Stephen? And
I eat sporadically, never routinely, and it's usually junk food. When am I going to die?
Oh my gosh. So that I can't answer, but you definitely have a shortened life expectancy.
All right, how much should I be drinking water-wise?
So you will want to be drinking half of your body weight in ounces. So that's just break out your calculator.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Brian, that is depressing.
I think the math's harder than the diet.
Right.
That's the most painful part for me.
People don't realize it. And most of us are walking around completely dehydrated and have no idea. Did you know that cravings can be caused by dehydration? So if you're craving something sweet, something salty, drink a glass of water and wait a few minutes and see if you're actually craving that or if you were just thirsty.
Wow. So it's not you want the sugar or you want the carbs. You just literally want the water.
Yes.
That's really interesting. I never knew that.
Yep.
So if you drink the water and you still have a craving, does that mean you just want a donut, or is that?
It means that you probably need some kind of mineral or nutrient, and your body's desperate to get it any way that it can.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I knew. I know like sometimes women are pregnant. They have certain nutritional deficiencies. They have these weird cravings like pickles
Yes.
or whatnot. And my ex-father-in-law, his brother would lick the mud off of tires in Georgia when he was a kid.
Yep.
There's some strange iron deficiency, and it's like orange red mud there, and his body just knew it was in there, like a salt lick for deer. So what's the strangest craving you've seen, or strangest kind of situation?
So that is a really good question. I have a friend whose son randomly started eating crayons.
Wow.
And she could not figure it out. And she finally took him to a holistic doctor. And the doctor said that he needed more grass-fed ground beef in his diet. And sure enough, I mean, almost instantly, he stopped craving and eating the crayons.
Wow. So what was it? What compound was that in there?
I don't exactly remember because that was a few years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I will ever forget, as long as I live, that the cure for wanting to eat crayons was grass-fed ground beef.
And that's a real sacrifice for the parent too, because beef is expensive. Crayons are cheap right now.
Right?
But that Japanese like in a cow in Japan, it's like Kobe beef. Right. It's like $15 an ounce or something.
That's crazy.
So, but you know, you don't want your kid to be a character on The Simpsons,
right?
What's the little boy riding the bus? Like, I'm in danger. He's always eating the crayons in every episode.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember because I never watched that show routinely. My parents wouldn't let me watch it, so I had to sneak and watch it.
I'm among the church children. I forgot.
Yeah. And homeschooler on top of that.
I was also
all 80s, 90s pop culture references.
I was also homeschooled. Yeah, that's righteous.
Remember the episode of Little House on the Prairie where the dad came?
Yeah.
That came up.
That dad had flowing locks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was literally an angel in another TV show at the same time.
It was very unrealistic because I don't feel like they had Pantene in the Old West.
So speaking of like the homesteading kind of environment, like in daily life, because I know like we're all parents, we're all busy. How crunchy can someone realistically be that's not, you know, insanely wealthy? Because a lot of this takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money. Like how do you personally balance that between, yeah, like these essential oils are great, but that's like a car payment.
Right.
You know, and then it's like I have children in the real world and I have to have work and feed them. And, you know, it's not my entire life. It's not just, you know, make a brew of essential oils every day.
That's a great question.
Hand-picked blueberries and then hand-picked blueberries in the Dakotas once a month.
Like how can you afford to eat healthy in today's economy? I mean, he has a great question.
It is a fantastic question. And I think that everybody struggles with that. So I view it as, okay, it's either going to be I'm paying this money out now or I'm paying the money out later for an emergency. I just we try to plan ahead with our grocery shopping and just meal plan, not winging it. We're not going to go in the grocery store and we're not going to grab just whatever looks good, especially if you went hungry. That's rule number 1. Don't go to the grocery store hungry.
I failed that test literally before the show this evening. So.
It's like she's been to Kroger with me or something.
Where were you an hour ago?
This is uncanny. This is uncanny.
I'm so sorry.
You had one job.
She's got a drone following me every Monday to the store.
Here tonight. So also, it helps if if you pay attention in the grocery store, they put all the healthy stuff on the outside and then all the junk on the inside.
Yes.
So only shop in the outside perimeter of the store.
Sweep the perimeter.
Oh, there you
and
go.
that's where all the expensive stuff is.
So it is expensive. It is. So
Do
shopping.
you have tips?
So this might be a hassle for some people, and I get it. Some people like to go to one store because you can get everything there, and I get that. But sometimes you can get better deals, and you can save money if you go to more than one store.
Yes.
So if you can find sales, like by me, I've got a BJ's, and that's where I get a really good deal on my frozen fruit. And because I make my kids a kefir shake for breakfast every morning. So we go through a lot of frozen fruit. Not only is it a better price at BJ's, but they also have coupons on it. So it's a matter of just knowing what's around you, knowing what stores you have, what the prices are. Sometimes that means you have to go to each store and write the prices down. Like, it does take work. But we do have the assistance of technology where we can look at prices online. And you can schedule pickups. So that's something that I do, because taking 4 kids to 4 different grocery stores is just not happening.
Medal of Honor for attempting it.
Not happening. So I will schedule pickups for whatever stores I can. Aldi is an amazing place that if you've got an Aldi, utilize it. Because that cuts my grocery bill like in half, even from Walmart. So if you can't do organic, that's okay. People think because they've got to eat healthy, then they've got to eat organic. Organic is the best, but it costs sometimes twice as much. Don't focus on that. Focus on fruits and vegetables and whole foods. Focus on things that are not prepackaged. A quick, easy meal that my kids will eat anytime is we basically do our little make our own charcuterie boards, and we just put it in little containers. So we chop up cheese cubes and we do crackers and hummus and carrots and peppers and olives. And it's seriously so easy. And I mean, you can buying things in bulk helps too. So rather than buying cheese that's already in string cheese form or already cubed, you're going to spend more because it's done for you. So buy a huge block of cheese and cube it yourself, or slice it yourself. So you want me
to eat healthy and work more?
Yes.
But you assure me this will pay off.
It will. It will.
Okay.
You'll feel better. When you feel better, you can do better. So, and then I'll take just 2 hours and do a bunch of meal prep, because that's really important. I feel like for a busy schedule is set aside a chunk of time one day and do all your prep. Cut up all your vegetables, cut up the cheese if cheese cubes are what you're going for. I will cut up a couple of packages of lettuce, and I'll put it either in a baggie with some paper towels, and it'll last for days. So prep ahead of time, and then you can make meals very easily on the go. So those are probably some of my best tips when it comes to all of this. Plus, and I will say that I've got it easy with my kids because they love vegetables. They love salad. They request salad. I don't know if something's wrong or right with them.
I was going to say autism is running rampant in the country.
Are they genetically engineered beforehand?
Maybe that's it.
Designer babies from Aldi.
They were born herbivores.
Aldi Labs. Designer babies.
So, I always look at them a little strange. Or they'll come in and be like, hey, so can I just have a pickle for a snack? And I'm like, Are you deficient in something, or do you really just want a pickle?
You wanted to make mom smile.
Well, let me ask you a question. I want to get a good answer. I'm hoping it's the answer I want. If I'm serious about losing weight, can I do it with just dieting? Can I at all avoid the exercise?
Actually, yes.
I love you.
It's actually losing weight is easier if you just change your diet. You can't out exercise a bad diet. So, yeah. Also, a healthy body is made in the kitchen, not the gym. So,
I like that.
That's an interesting point.
Because I really we just despise the gym. There's just so much about it. It's narcissism and just it's like a temple where people are going to worship themselves. It's hard to get past for me, but the dieting seems so much more doable because like I'm in my kitchen. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
Right.
It's just me and a cutting board and a blender or whatever. But the gym thing, especially people have kids and jobs. I mean, it's just there's this people are. I know somebody who's losing sleep. She's get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. She's sleeping 3 hours a night.
No. To
work out 2 hours in the morning. Like I don't think that's going to help you because sleep deprivation and diet are like the two things that will destroy you.
Yes.
Because sleep deprivation causes, insomnia, or it causes anxiety, blood pressure, blood sugar, all of it's worse with sleep deprivation. You get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, then you're just
not only that,
in my opinion.
Not only that, but sleep deprivation will ruin your hormones for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Like, sleep is key. That's one of the first things that I tell people. That's like, I don't care what you think you've got to do. What's your sleep look like? Let's focus on making sure you're getting a good night's sleep every single night. Because if you are feeling better, you can do better. So sleep is key. And you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Good sleep, not waking up. If you're waking up at certain hours in the middle of the night, that could mean that certain organs are not functioning properly. So if, for example, if you wake up between 1 and 3 in the morning, it means that your body's overproducing cortisol.
It's a stress hormone.
Yes.
So basically you're so stressed out, your body won't relax. Like it's got to be doing something or we're missing something. Something's going to get done.
Yes. Your adrenals tend to be overworked. And so that's why I suggest that people start with taking care of their adrenals, addressing that. And let's focus on what's stressing you out so much. Let's focus on some stress management, some breath work before bed, and different essential oils that they could incorporate if they so choose. So, because just like everything else, health is bio-individual. And what works for one person, what works for one person isn't going to work for someone else. So,
and that goes to my next question, because there's fad diets. There's a blood type diet, which has some theories on about the Levites and everything. But then there's the keto diet, and one person will swear it saved their life, and the other person's like, it ruined my kidneys.
Yep.
And all these fads, or any of them, do you think are helpful? And how would someone know if like this is good for them or bad for them? Because there's so many variations of everything out there.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you are so right. So, again, there's no one size fits all. So I think that people just need to kind of figure out what works for them. Mm-hmm. So for me, my body doesn't do well on cutting out carbs completely. I have to have some form of bread or pasta in there at some point.
Well, you are Italian, so this is like deeply genetic.
It is. It is.
Well, I've been to Italy. I'm like, how you people eat pasta all day and you're so skinny and good looking?
Because
the devil is a liar.
Well, so the food over there is completely different. It's held completely
whole different grains, breads.
Yes. how they process it. Everything is different. Everything's homemade there. They literally make the pasta from scratch.
Our food is such trash. There are other countries that won't even accept our flour.
Well, they won't. When I lived in Germany, like if people had gluten allergies, they're perfectly fine eating bread all day because ours has so much Roundup on it. And like the wheat and the tares, we try to harvest it too much. So we try to harvest it early, then you get the wheat in with the tares, and tares are neurotoxins. And you're also supposed to like allow so many weeks to wash off all the pesticides, and we don't do that.
Of course not.
And we try to get 3 harvests instead of 2, and we just break all the biblical processes for making bread. But it's insane. But people go there in Europe, no problem. Eat bread 3 meals a day, totally fine.
I watched a video about this family that moved over there, and they did not change at all what they ate. They still went to the grocery store and bought their Fruit Loops and all the regular stuff that they would eat here, and they all started to lose weight and feel better. And it's because there's so many additives that are allowed in the food here that are not allowed. They're banned in other countries.
We can't export food to them. We're not allowed.
Yeah, and that's really bizarre, isn't it?
It's sad. It's really sad because people don't know this. And that's what I would love to do, is to be able to help educate people, and just for the generations that come after us, because it really is important.
I want to ask you another question. I know that this next topic, it relates to dieting, and it's probably caused multiple civil wars within dieting Facebook groups, I'd imagine, and that's fasting. Is that good or is that bad for your diet? Or is that also individual?
Again, it is absolutely individual. Everything is. So I fall in the camp of intermittent fasting is great. But where you do have to be careful is it can absolutely mess with hormones. And I feel like that affects more women than men. So I do feel like women need to be careful when it comes to the amount of fasting and the length of time, because some people do it every day. Maybe that's too frequent. Some people could get away with once a week and it's okay for them. So again, you just have to play around with it and make sure that you're paying attention to your body. Because most of us don't know how to listen to our body and the cues that it's giving us.
Do you think women are more sensitive? Their bodies are more sensitive to changes in diet and sleep and things like that? They're more they're more in tuned, maybe. So they're more sensitive.
So I do think women, I think we are more in tune, but I think we have learned how to not be in tune because we feel like we've got to compete with the opposite gender.
Yeah.
So women have a completely different cycle when it comes to our hormones. Men's it's a 24-hour cycle, where ours changes every single week. So it's something that I want to study next. It's actually something that I'm hoping to sign up and take another course for, is about hormones. And just learn. I'd love to learn more about them. I know a lot, but I don't know enough. And so I'm sure that there's actually probably a specific time in a female cycle that would be acceptable to fast. And then other times it's probably not good to fast.
No, you're losing iron and so much at once, all the red blood cells. And so it seems like the men are always says men are like the sun is a cycle, but it's a more long drawn out steady cycle. And women are more like the moon as far as it's very, very cyclical and rapidly changing, like the waves coming in and out. I mean, it's just this cycle. Both are on a cycle, but women just kind of go through it a lot quicker.
Yes. So, and again, this is something I would love to learn more about and study and figure out. But just like anything else, people can go too crazy with it. So I warn people with fasting to ease yourself into it. Start with 12 hours. So stop eating at 8 p.m. and don't eat anything till after 8 a.m. and see how you feel, see how you do. Some people need to eat within an hour of waking up, and that's okay. Some people can go fast until noon and then they break their fast with lunch, and that works for them. But I also know that doing things too intense for too long can usually cause do more harm than good.
See,
So-
what my better half and I were discussing is possibly we don't really want to diet, but we want to make a better lifestyle change, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about only eating meat like 4 nights a week, and then eating whatever we want that's not meat the other nights of the week, and then one night of the week we talked about maybe like every Sunday fasting the whole day, still drinking liquids but fasting
Yes.
meat or food altogether.
Yeah.
Would that sound healthy?
Yeah, that actually sounds really good. I'm trying to remember what they're called. I'm drawing an absolute blank. We learned about it in health coaching school. There's a community. There's 5 of them, I think, in the world. Blue communities, and I think is what they're called. And it had the largest number of people who were over 100 years old and were still living their day-to-day lives and working and all of that. And what they found was a lot of them were vegetarian. They ate a mostly plant-based diet and would only have meat once, maybe twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's one in South America and there's one in Japan.
Yes.
And they're usually really hop in the mountains. Like altitude is a big thing too.
That's interesting. I don't remember discussing the altitude. I remember it being what they ate, and then the community was huge.
Absolutely. Having community, because socially, like with cortisol, your body's in a constant state of panic and stress if you're isolated, because we're humans, we're social. Without a community, our body thinks we're in danger all the time. There's no one help with the kids, single moms. It's like a constant state of stress.
Yes. That's fascinating, because I actually just watched a few webinars this past weekend on how to manage stress, because there's always going to be stress in your life. It's how we manage it that is the most important.
It's unavoidable, but how you work with it.
Yep, it's how you work with it. So, was that a question that popped up on
that was my friend Elise popped up. She wanted to know. Oh, there she goes. It's my friend Elise. She's actually a mental health professional, so we have her on one day too. There are a lot of trends going on now, diet trends, different regulations, but how can we get into healthy habits without feeling we have to follow a bunch of rules? So how can it be non-legalistic,
right,
and healthy?
Like, how do I get skinny without extra work?
Well,
oh my gosh, if I had the answer for that, I'd be a billionaire.
Basically,
Jenny, how
does a lazy glutton lose weight around here?
No, how can you be healthy without sucking the joy out of life?
Right.
And the spontaneity and I can't go there. I mean, I know people literally, I can't go there. I don't know what food they have, and I can't eat these 99 things, so I can't do anything ever. Period. I just don't leave the house.
Yeah, and keep in mind, your answer is going to reshape our opinion of you for life.
Okay, sounds good. So, I am absolutely in the camp of I don't want to follow a bunch of rules and be miserable. Like, if I go to a birthday party and there's cake, I'm eating the cake.
Go girl.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
So, I think first of all, what I tell people is you've got to ease yourself into it. Change doesn't happen overnight, and you don't want to be following a bunch of rules. I think we tend to jump in. We're like, oh, I'm going to lose weight. And so we buy all the stuff, we throw out all the stuff we don't want, and we just jump in. And then like 2 weeks later, we're like, if we even make it to 2 weeks, like, nope.
Then all the depressive eating to compensate, we regained all the weight we lost.
Exactly. So I think that if you start slowly and you start making one change at a time, it's easier, and it's not like, again, it's not, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff I've got to do. So you start by drinking more water. And you do that for, I don't know, a month until it's just become a habit. And then you start the next, okay, well, then that's gotten easier. So I'm going to cut my diet or my sugar consumption in half. I'm not even going to take it all out. I'm going to just cut it in half.
Put the 6-shooters away, John Wayne. You're getting radical now.
He's got that bandolero belt full of essential oils, like his cowboy.
Yes. Yes. No, my essential oil collection is a bit extreme.
He's got an ambulance full of shelves that just pulls up when the kids go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, right. Here, you got a broken leg. There's an oil for that.
Put some sandalwood on that arterial bleeding.
Because that's totally how it works. So back to the question. You have to do what works for you. So again, for me, I try to eat better at home, which then gives me the flexibility and the freedom to, if I'm going to go out to eat. Then
So it's not an all or nothing. It's not to eat super healthy all day, all the time.
No.
It's a do what you can when you're home so you have some leeway for yourself. Have some
Yes.
grace for yourself.
Absolutely.
Gastronomical grace.
Way too much grace sometimes.
I know, loosey-goosey Presbyterian diet over here. A Methodist diet.
There's way too much grace in my diet.
There's a Baptist version, which is
I
like
need the law.
no sugar ever. Then there's the Methodist version, which is God's birthday cake.
Some people do like the 80-20 rule. They'll eat healthy 80% of the time, which gives them 20% of leeway. Like, you find what works for you. And it takes time. And that's the problem too, is people want a quick fix. But it takes time to figure out what way of eating works best for you, and how you've got to also focus on how you feel. It's better to feel good than look good. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we've got it so backwards in today's society. We're more focused on how we look than how we feel. And I'm sorry, but when I get before the Almighty one day, he's not going to be like, wow, you looked great the whole time. No. So
there's a thing with certain cultures where India has very, very skinny people in certain parts of India, the tropical part.
Yes.
But their metabolic health is just, everybody's got a fatty liver and diabetes, and they're just dying, but they look like models. They're walking around skinny. Then you go somewhere like before the Inuit, we most people call them Eskimo, but the Inuit, before the American diet took over, I mean, they're all very, very plump people because they'd freeze to death if they weren't. Right. They look very chubby, BMIs really high, but they're insanely healthy, eating well blubber all day. They literally live on fat and fish. Yep. Fat and fish, but they're great, but they look like, beach balls. And then there's people in India totally skinny, but their insides are a wreck. So it's so hard to tell just by looking at someone.
Absolutely.
I've got a friend who she runs 10 miles a day, but she's just like, as we say, big boned and very muscular. But she literally runs 10 miles a day before work, but she's always going to be like an athletic build. She's just never going to be super skinny. So it's hard to tell by looking, I think.
Absolutely. Everybody is different. And again, that word bio-individuality, we've got to start applying it, because that's the beauty of it. God made us all different. Why do we put ourselves and put other people in this box? So we were all created very unique, and let's embrace that. And so for me, I've got an Italian family, so that means that I'm going to enjoy the pasta and the bread, and that's okay.
Right, yeah.
Your life expectancy for turning down grandma's pasta will be quite short compared to eating cake every day.
Now me, I'm English, Irish, and Scottish, so if I even smell the pasta, I'm going to gain weight.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. I've got Italian and Irish, so...
Potato pasta.
Potato pasta.
Oh, gosh. Pasta.
We're going to invent a thing tonight.
So many stereotypes.
But actually, it's true. They've studied it. And people do tend to either need or crave what their ancestors ate.
Isn't
Or
that
where
interesting?
I think it's fascinating.
Like,
So if you're Norse,
wonder
you're
what the
going to eat a
science
lot of.
behind that is.
I guess would it be a survival thing? Like if your ancestors lived on fish because they're Vikings, and this is what your body is designed. Your body designed to eat it.
It's very possible. Also, we know that things get passed down generationally,
Mm-hmm.
so you can't tell me that that's not in there too.
Oh wow! Like a generational curse or a blessing or a generational craving.
Right. There we
If
go.
you're Jewish, you might like leeks and garlic and whatever they grew in Egypt.
I'm trying to remember how many generations. I want to say it goes back 4 generations. So especially for those who might have had grandparents or great grandparents that immigrated.
It would
Do you
be
think that's
even
from
stronger.
the womb?
Well, you both talked. Sorry.
Go ahead, Brian.
He's the voice of my conscience. He needs to do a better job.
am
So
ashamed.
there's the voice in my head that don't eat that ice cream. So do you think it's maybe in the womb, like mom had this in the womb because grandma made it, and then you come out, you might not ever eat it because you're in a different country, but you.
I think anything's possible when it comes to this. I feel like there's so much that we don't even know yet. So, but that wouldn't surprise me at all.
So fad diets, like well, not fad diets, but like these, so much marketing's out there, and you always feel like you're eating healthy, and you figure out you're not because like I'm going to drink orange juice instead of soda, and your sugar's like 5,000. I was trying to do good. I like all these toppings and ketchups and stuff. Like, oh, it says fat free, and it's because it's full of sugar.
Right.
So you ever get to the point, Greg, you feel like giving up because you never really actually found anything healthy. It was all just some marketing campaign. And like even the GMO stuff, I heard an article, interview at NPR. This guy's used to label things non-GMO for the government. It's like, yeah, if farmer gives me $500, I drive by the field and no one ever checks that. I mean, it was almost like meaningless a lot of times because it's just, or just slap a label on it. They pay us enough.
Right.
Or that the rules are so loose on it. There's so many workarounds for genetic engineering that you can just make anything you want to. And it's only 1 out of 100 times that's going to be labeled as genetically engineered.
Yep. It definitely feels very discouraging sometimes. I think that for me, again, staying away from as much of much processed food as possible, which is going to limit my intake of GMOs, because I don't know that we're going to be able to cut it out completely. I just don't know that
It's not feasible in America in 2023.
Right. But if it's actually better if you have the option to buy local versus organic, buy local.
What's
because you have a much better chance of it being non-GMO. Not only you're supporting local farmers, but it's actually better for you because your body is designed to eat food for where you live. So
is that like eating seasonally?
Yes.
You're designed to eat like berries in summer and potatoes in winter, and you just do better that way.
Yes, it's along those same lines. So if you can get your produce local, that is honestly your best bet. You are going to pay more for it though. So that is the disadvantage to that. But if there are flea markets or farmers markets nearby, that's a great way to get to know all your local farmers. And you never know, you might end up getting discounts or figuring out a way you can barter with them. They will do that. So there are options out there, but again, it does take more time and energy than walking into your local Walmart and just grabbing what you see right there.
Because we're such a convenient society. Go ahead.
It is.
Do you think we'll ever see a day where someone who looks like you could periodically eat fried chicken and remain looking like you?
I ate fried chicken last week, guys.
Wow.
She's one of the X-Men. This is her parents were exposed to powerful radiation. Now she can eat what she wants.
We're showing
Okay.
this video to the atheists.
Superpower.
This is a miracle. Supernatural going on right here today.
Again, that was a cheat day, if you want to call it that. Also, again, I believe in keeping it real. So, due to stress and trauma in my life, I actually have leaky gut. So I should not have eaten the fried chicken, but so what ends up happening with that is a lot of times my body can't digest and actually or absorb anything from it. So, everything I eat just kind of, this sounds terrible, but goes right through me right now.
You
Is that
lucky girl.
Yeah, it's great. So the
Work
upside to that is I can eat whatever I want and I won't necessarily gain weight, but I feel like garbage all of the time. So that's something I've been in the process of doing work on. And I know that what I'm doing is working because I am putting on weight. And so I'm trying not to get frustrated with that. I'm like, okay, you know what? This means my body's healing. It means it's functioning as it should. So this is a good sign.
Right.
Because you couldn't absorb it, then they would be real trouble because you couldn't absorb nutrition.
Yeah, that's exactly what's been going on. Any supplements that I'm taking, it all just it's doing me no good.
So there was a doctor who had a commercial late at night about leaky gut, and he was supposedly professional on it. But he was saying you can't eat beans or tomatoes because this is what makes your gut leak.
And for me, it's caused then sensitivities. So I'm an Italian who can't eat garlic or onions right now.
That's heresy.
They're going to kick you off the island. They're going to send you some.
Seriously.
They'll kick you out off the continent and send you.
They're not even going to let you stay in Sicily.
Yeah.
If my grandmothers were alive right now, there would be rioting.
Yep.
So, but I've found certain supplements that work. And then I'm also doing nervous system work to tell my body that we don't have to be in fight or flight anymore. It's okay. We're safe.
Do you really believe that the supplements are beneficial? Because I've heard a lot of, health enthusiasts say that it's actually like just buying expensive urine.
So I think it depends on the quality of the supplements, and B, you can't out supplement a bad diet. It's the same thing. People try. They want to be able to eat whatever they want and then just pop some pills and you're good to go. It doesn't work that way. Very sorry. I hate to burst anyone's bubbles right now. But there's still no magic pill that you can take that just makes it all better. So
there's no one magic answer. There's a culmination of your unique biology, as you said, which is a really good term.
Yes.
The culmination should be mainstream.
Bio-individuality.
Bio-individuality. So you take your bio-individuality, you maybe take your locality, because different soil levels and whatnot, different environments require different things to function well.
Yep.
Like you couldn't eat whale blubber in Texas all day, you'd probably die. But if you're in the North Pole, it's probably going to keep you alive because you have to stay warm. And so eat seasonally, eat locally, respect your bio-individuality. Does that tie into blood type, do you think? Or is that kind of only sham diets going around?
So again, I think for some people, eating by your blood type might work great. I think people just take everything to an extreme and they take it too far.
So it's just the human tendency to just go to this. We want this to happen so fast. We're just gonna just become a fanatic, and in a month we'll be okay.
Yes. Right.
And they wreck stuff. They wreck their own body doing that.
Yes. If you're trying to lose weight, you didn't put on the weight overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. And in fact, if you very unhealthy. So focusing on healing the body from the inside out is what I feel the goal should be. And you've got it to take into account so much. Again, everything that you listed, Brian, and now throw, in my case, female hormones, throw that on in the mix too. Because women should actually be eating different things depending on which week of the cycle that they're in. Because we have 4 weeks, 4 different cycles. You should be eating one thing one week, and something completely different the next, and that we should be exercising differently each week too.
Mm-hmm.
So
We're such a Roman mindset. It's like 12 noon to 12 noon, 365. But the Celtic world, the Hebrew world, all of that was very cyclical. It's almost like a moon
yes,
cycle.
yes,
That's it was such a different mindset. We lost that in the West. We're on such a mechanical factory system, but the
yes,
whole world's on this cycle of every few days something's totally different.
yes.
Another question for you from the audience. It's what about the 3 layers of fat? Is that something you're familiar with?
That is not something I'm familiar with. Also, I would probably need you to expand on that question a little bit more in order for me to kind of understand what you're saying.
Is that the
Fair
subcutaneous
enough.
fat versus like organ fat?
I'm assuming that that's what was meant by the question. And that's not something that I have tons of knowledge in.
Okay. Thank you
So,
very much.
yeah.
We should just switch over to asking about your business while we're here. So
Okay.
Tierney's a
Yes.
licensed health coach. She's in the Dream
Yes.
Helper Network. She's got her website up, and do you give a free consult?
I do. If anyone wants to get a free 50-minute consultation with me to determine if a health coach is actually what you need, then if you go to my website, which as you can see, scrolling along the bottom there,
Like a little
and
choo-choo
there's
train.
and there's a form that you can fill out on the website, and that will put you in touch with me, and I can get some information from you, and then we get started, and then we proceed. I like doing the consultations because it just sometimes you need a health coach, but maybe that health coach isn't the right fit for you,
Mhm.
and I think it's important that you have that time to determine, like, yes, this will be a good partnership or not. A little bit about what a health coach does, and again, that's going to be on my website. But think about a coach. What does a coach do? They maybe help give you pointers and tips, um, and they're cheering you on from the sidelines as you're out on the field doing what it is you need to do. So it's my job to come alongside you on your health and wellness journey, and maybe ask some questions, because sometimes you could be doing all the right things and you're still not getting the results you want. Maybe there's something going on emotionally that's holding you back. Because if you are stressed and you're constantly in fight or flight and your body is overproducing cortisol, you're not going to lose weight. It's going to hold on to everything you're putting into it. So people don't realize that. They just want to be in the gym 3 hours a day and hope that that works. Sometimes it actually requires you to do some emotional or spiritual work. So that's where I come in.
Do you think that crosses over not just nutrition, but like almost counseling or the more emotional, relational side of life coaching or trauma coaching? Because I like a trauma history of my mom died as 14 and there was just no food. They were like, we eat moldy
Right.
bread for 3 days or picking up beer cans on the side of the road to try to get lunch money. We just were literally not eating.
Right.
And so if I see food, it's like this subconscious mentality of, okay, there's a potluck, just take some Tupperware and just
Yep.
take it with you because you don't know when you're going to eat next. This very
Yep.
subconscious fear of starving.
Absolutely.
And do you kind of counsel people through that side of it as well, the emotional discipline
Yes.
side of it?
Yes. So obviously, I'm not a licensed counselor. So if there's something that comes up that I feel needs to be discussed with someone who is an actual professional counselor, then I will, uh, you know, pass that person on. I can still work with them
Mhm.
from the health coaching stand or point of view, but yes, sometimes it just people don't realize it. Like you said, it's subconscious. You've been doing it this way for years, and no one has pointed it out to you. Um, so again, sometimes it just takes asking the right questions. And my best friend and I do it for each other all the time. We joke that that's our favorite pastime, is to psychoanalyze each other. We're constantly going, do you know why you do that? Oh, wait, yeah, I have this memory from when I was like 5.
Well, that's a good friend because most people they don't go this deep with each other. They're just
Right.
like, okay, I loving you means just letting you self-destruct and me not saying anything
Right.
about it.
Yeah, no, I definitely do not have that kind of relationship with her. In fact, we're probably too hard sometimes.
Savages.
But we love each other enough to be like, hey, it's exactly what you said. I love you. So stop self sabotaging, because that's what you're doing.
Honest question, and don't take it wrong because you have a wonderful personality, but you've been extremely honest with us tonight, and you've told us a lot of difficult things to hear. Has anyone been crazy enough to give you their money?
So, no, not yet. I do have one person that she's waiting. It's on me. She needs the paperwork from me,
Yeah.
in order to sign up and start handing over her the money. But that one's on me because I didn't have the right equipment to get the paperwork set up. So,
How would someone go about getting that started? Do they go to the tierneydb.com and
yes.
it's all there on the website?
So there's information about me. There's information about health coaching on there. I'm in the process of writing another blog post for it. But then, yes, there's a contact page where you can contact me to set up the free consultation. That's how I start everything. And then they would they'll get emailed forms to fill out. And it's not anything super crazy or extensive. Brian, you did one for me.
I did. She gave me some free coaching, and she was quite kind. She wasn't savage. I appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm only savage with people who are I'm that close with.
Yeah.
So, and then if people choose to sign up with me, I recommend a 6-month program, because that is the studied length of time in order for people to actually have implemented change, for it to be
Like a
lasting.
lifestyle.
Yes. Yes. And would just require 2 sessions a month with me.
How much does a 6-month program cost you? Is it gender neutral? You'll take male clients, female clients?
I will see whoever comes my way, unless we feel like, oh, hey, this just isn't a good fit. This isn't a good match.
Sure.
And I would love to work with women, specifically women who have been divorced or are single moms, and have been through an abusive relationship, because that's my background. And I can empathize. And
Have you considered writing a health book? Like a healthy lifestyle book? You could call it I Can Eat Pasta and You Can't, haha.
yeah, that's going to sell real well.
You know what? It's catchy though, and you've been so insanely honest with us tonight. Like I
Olive Garden is
believe
Italian
you.
McDonald's. That's what she named.
That's,
Right.
yes.
This is not real Italian food.
That's wisdom.
And then she just sneak in all these healthy tips along the way.
Well, I mean, I honestly, I've never heard anybody be just as honest as you have. Like, it's not all exercise. It's not all health medication. It's not all eating. It's a combination of all of it.
Right.
You're
It's
just
not the
real,
fad of the
and I
week.
appreciate that. I would read a health book from you.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, we interviewed a publisher about a month ago, so we can hook you up.
Yes.
That's slightly terrifying. I feel like there's just so much information out there. I feel like there's all of the blog posts, there's all of the websites, there's all of the books. And so people are constantly doing that to try to gain the knowledge. And it's not about knowledge, it's about transformation. So that's why I really like, or I think at least at this point, prefer doing something like this.
Did you just hear the title of chapter 1, Brian?
I think so.
I just heard the title of chapter 1.
But I think
Okay.
it's not the, it's easy to drown. I write books, and it's, easy to drown it. Well, the people have this information. Well, they might have the information, but the information is so skewed. It's like 90 pages pushing this one fad diet, this person came up with. Or 90 pages pushing this crazy exercise routine. But it's not necessarily the information you have that's needed. It's the perspective you have that's needed. So you don't have to compartment. You don't have to take all this information about diets. You should, I think, what I feel is in interviews and blogs, take your perspective, because your perspective and your philosophy can be applied to so many different things. We don't have to reinvent the wheel or conglomerate these different philosophies and do it in encyclopedia. It's like, no, just share your perspective on it, and people can apply that to whatever they're going through. And I think you'd find a lot of success in that, because this is a rare thing. I know a lot of people that are really big into health and nutrition, but everybody's on this almost fanatically committed to some random thing this week that'll change next week. But you're one of the few people I've met that has a healthy, realistic, logical approach to it.
Yes.
That isn't just sensationalized.
Yes.
So
well,
that
thank
might
you.
be, you're welcome. Truth is sometimes kind, as we say. But I think that's what's needed. It's part of the reason having you on is like, this is a real person that's talking about real health, not trying to make an infomercial.
Yeah, exactly. There are so many phonies out there. They're like, the Oprahs, you can eat donuts and you can eat donuts. And she's like the Dr. Phil. She's like, look, you're lazy. The fact you're lazy, She'll just give it to us straight. I appreciate it.
Dave Ramsey said rice and beans ain't good for your belly. It's just good for your wallet.
Yes.
Truth.
Well, do you want to plug any more of your social media? Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want people who are going to watch this later to know?
Oh, wow. I honestly think this is probably the hardest question you've asked all night.
That's a compliment, but also insulting.
So sorry.
No.
Both blonde Southern boys. It's like the two Dukes of Hazzards, but there's no brunette.
Right. Well, you know what? I always thought I was a brunette, but I got told a lot when I was older that I was like a dirty blonde. So I still don't know, Brian.
Does it matter?
Not really. I wear a hat most of the time outside.
Then there you go.
I'm losing all the evidence either way, so I'm stressed.
Collagen. You need collagen. There you go. You're welcome.
You're welcome. I'll get a bill for that later. PayPal request, Tierney Dubi.
Right. You're about to get a Venmo for $15.
I need fettuccine money. Come on.
Yeah. You're speaking her love language, Brian.
So so you've got TierneyDubi.com,
Yes.
which is a beautiful name. It's a little hard to spell.
And that's okay.
So we have it across the bottom for everybody. And when we have letstalkshalom.com, which is like a media hub for all this. So every time we interview someone, we put their picture up and a link to their website. So if people are just hearing on audio, for example, you can also go to letstalkshalom.com and we'll have her picture up and a link to her homepage. And my Psalm 16 ministry has, she's on our Dream Helper Network, which is a network of coaches. Like we have a trauma coach and a grief coach and a health coach, of course. And we're about to add a licensed counselor, and we have a doctor of Christian counseling. So if you need anything like that, sometimes people like go to Tierney for health, but they might be doing grieving, so they go to John, or they talk to Keely about trauma, or they talk to Annalise about relationships. So we have this whole network where everyone can refer each other, or if you need help in multiple areas, you can get that all at once. And everyone there is faith-based, and 90% are Torah people, but it's all faith-based. And I just ask you about real quick the Bible diet. Do you find that's been helpful in your perspective? Like God designed.
Are you guys talking about like the Daniel diet?
Leviticus 11. Say like God said these things are to be eaten, these are not to be eaten. But also throughout the course of the year, they ate barley in spring and wheat in summer and fruits in the fall. Does that influence your perspective on health?
So at this point, I can't necessarily say that it has. I mean, I keep kosher, biblical kosher. Um, so, but I do have to wonder how much of that also goes back to what we talked about earlier with depending on your family's history, where they're from.
Mhm.
So that's a great question, but I don't know that I actually have a specific answer for you on it.
That's okay. Just curious. But there's a book called What Would Jesus Eat? To send you a link to. It's really good. It's a Messianic Jewish doctor looked at the medical reasons for the Bible diet. So
Oh, that's awesome.
it was really cool. But he echoed a lot of what you were saying about, everything's in cycles, everything's in
Yes.
seasons, everything's local. It wasn't just eat this, not that. It was, Jesus lived near the Sea of Galilee, so he eat fish all day. And he would eat
Right.
this in summer and this is the winter because this is how ancient people ate. And that's why they're so
Yes.
much healthier than us.
Yes. So yeah, we've definitely gotten away from too much. Too much of that. We're out here working and striving to make a living. But we're killing ourselves in the process.
Exactly.
So I have definitely been the past couple months in a season of slowing down and focusing on taking care of myself. Because I think we've given that a bad rap. We've given self-care a bad rap. And people, again, just like everything, take it too far. Self-care does not mean, oh, I'm going to soak in a bubble bath every night and have a big glass of wine before bed. Like, self-care is having the self-discipline to nourish your body and treat it as, God gave us this body. This is the only one that we get in this lifetime.
Is
So
there a way to find out what my body's missing without going to an expensive doctor's office visit?
so there are certain ways, certain clues, like if your body's craving certain things, that can tell you to some degree what minerals are off. There's a wellness center by me. Granted, this isn't necessarily cheap, but I've seen way worse. They charge about $500, and they do a hair analysis scan, and then that gets you the hair analysis scan. It gets you consultation with the doctor there, but you get a detailed 37-page report, and it basically tells you everything going on in your body. So
That is remarkable.
it's absolutely fascinating. I haven't done it yet, but I want to. It's just, again, being completely honest, it's one of those things that I know I need to do, but I've been putting off just a little bit.
So you are human.
I am.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She almost had us there, Brian.
She's an Italian stallion.
So again, you're going to have to look into wellness centers and places like that. I don't know that traditional doctors will offer something like that, but who knows? There might be some out there who might. And I personally feel like that tells you a lot more than blood work. And you also don't have to go get 7 vials of blood taken. So win-win.
I'm going to count that as a victory. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I can only tell so much. Like if I'm working with someone, I don't replace a doctor. I technically can work hand in hand with your doctor. Because sometimes you'll go to a doctor and the doctor will say, hey, your blood pressure's high and you need to lose weight. Good luck. And people go, what? Wait, huh?
5-minute once a year meeting you get sometimes.
And by the way, you can't eat salt anymore.
Right. So that's again where I can come in and help. Because be like, okay, all right, well, let me take some of the overwhelm and the pressure off of you, and I can help you get started. So Did that actually answer your question? I rabbit trailed myself.
If it
That's
didn't
an
answer
intuitive
our
personalities
question,
do
we
that.
forgot.
Sorry.
No, that was really good. Yeah. Brian, or can you think of anything else that we could ask her that we haven't already asked her? Any information to help people get a hold of her? Any way we can help plug this young lady?
Yeah, so we got Let's Talk Shalom. She's going to be on there, letstalkshalom.com. And she's my Dream Helper Network. So you guys, if you can't find Tierney, just reach out to me and I'll get you contact with her. And of course, you've got our YouTube episode here, and we're going to put this on Anchor FM as well, and Spotify, and hopefully iTunes soon.
One
So we
last
could plug that, and we could plug her website on our pages as well. Go ahead, Stephen.
One last question for you is, what does it cost? What is the 6-month program?
Okay, so right now, it's $95 a month for 6 months, and again, that
To
gets
change
you,
your life.
yeah, and that gets you two
No.
sessions with me a month, where we talk, we game plan. I help keep you accountable, because I think that's probably one of the biggest things is you just need someone to
We live
listen
so
to you while you
isolated.
vent. Yes, yes. So, and I would also, my goal is to eventually create a community where we either have a Facebook group or we have something to where people can just come together and help support each other. Because that's really, at the end of the day, what we all really need is community.
Amen to that.
Absolutely. And as far as communities, we talked about earlier about farmers. It's kingdom economy, where if you're giving your money to some random corporation all the time, they're going to spend it on God knows what. It's so much better to give to someone in your community locally. It's a single mom, that's a grandpa. That's someone that's going to spend in the community, and it's also, especially if it's a believer, or especially
Yes.
someone that's in your particular style of belief, you're putting it back in the community. Like if I take my fast food budget and spend it with instead of coaching every month, I'm investing in me. I'm investing in Tierney. Tierney's going to take it, and she's not going to do anything wild and crazy with it out in the community that's going to be harmful to the world. She's probably going to put some in her local congregation or homeschooling stuff to raise godly materials to raise godly children with. If I'm keeping it kingdom economy, it's helping me, it's helping a fellow believer, and the fellow believer is probably going to invest it in the community and good things for that community as well. So, and that's what the Jewish model, to keep it in the community. Jewish people don't go to Gentile barbers, they go to Jewish barbers, and the Jewish barber takes part of that money, puts it in the congregation, and the congregation has a congregation school your kids are going to while you're getting a haircut, and it all stays inside the community. So I really believe in kingdom economy, like the farmer's market, like going to someone that's in the faith, you have a relationship with, and the money stays in the community, and that's just a wonderful business model, and you're reinvesting it. You can invest it in destroying yourself, or you can invest it in building yourself.
Absolutely.
So I think it's well worth it.
So, and it is an investment in yourself. And if you can switch your, mindset to realize that, it goes a long way, because I want to be here for my kids. Like what started it all at the very beginning, I mentioned my grandma, she passed away when I was 14, and she was someone who was very, very important to me. And, she didn't never get to meet my kids, which I would have loved. So I want to be around to be able to see my kids' kids and my kids' kids' kids. And so think of it as investing in yourself for future generations. And like I said, if you can make that mindset switch, it goes a long way.
Oh, absolutely. And is there anything we could, Steve and I are going to promote you as much as we can, because this is part of the podcast is to, take someone like yourself that's doing a good thing, but needs to be lifted up, and people to know your name and people know what you offer, and help the people that need you to find you, or the people that might be called to do what you're doing, help them to find a path to get what you're doing now. So, but what could the community do to help support you, aside from, obviously coaching with you? What could they do to help expand your mission and help you help other people? Because I looked at this is not just a coaching or a side business. This is your mission. This is your ministry.
Absolutely.
This is the fort that you were put in charge of.
So,
This is your battle.
So just word of mouth and just share. If you feel led to share my name with someone that you feel might need it. Um, so, and I like people. I like talking to people. So don't feel um, there is no obligation. If anyone does a free consultation, there is no obligation to sign up with me. I will happily talk to you and help you and do what's best for you. I am definitely not going to be the person who does what's best for me. I'm actually a terrible salesperson, if you didn't guess that already by my ability to be very, very honest.
I will tell you too, guys. I was going in like, oh my gosh, this girl's gonna find out what I eat every day and send me a strong rebuke.
Absolutely not.
That's why I put mine at the very beginning of the show, Brian. By this point, she can barely remember what a disaster I was.
Exactly.
No.
But it's very, and that's always, that's why I avoid a lot of personal trainers and this kind of thing. So I just don't want to get beat up every time I have a conversation with them.
Of course
But
not.
very kind and very encouraging, but also the wisdom. It's like, okay, well, this is the consequences of what you're eating. But, very kind and a lot of wisdom and a lot of just compassion for people that aren't gym rats or that aren't, Rambo or this kind of thing. There's so much condescension out in the health and fitness world for people that aren't perfected. So I really appreciate that. I would encourage other people, if you have that kind of hang up about talking to someone about health or nutrition, you're not going to find that kind of attitude in Tierney.
No.
She's not that kind of person.
Our Heavenly Father doesn't shame us into doing better. So why do we shame other people? That's not what we're called to do. No one gets better. Do you do better when someone is yelling at you or kindly encouraging you and coming alongside you saying, hey, I'm in the same boat. Let's do this together.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
That's
a gentle answer turns away donuts. A gentle answer turns away donuts.
Brian chapter 2.
Brian chapter 2, verse 6. Yes.
Book of Second Opinions.
So yea, though walk to the valley of the shadow of the Krispy Kreme red light, I will crave no calories.
Yeah, that's why I could never do a gluten-free diet. Did you guys know that flavor is in gluten?
Yes.
All the good flavors are in gluten.
Yes. Not to mention gluten-free products are actually worse for you than if you would have just eat the gluten.
Oh, do tell.
Oh, yeah. No, the additives that they put in so that it actually tastes halfway decent are terrible for you. If you need to go gluten-free, then your best option is to go grain-free for a while and see what that does for your body. But you got to be careful. You got to read the ingredients and know what it's telling you.
I've heard similar things about like Coke and Diet Coke. The Diet Coke's actually just as bad for you.
Oh yeah, it's got aspartame in it. Aspartame is awful.
Neurotoxin, right?
Yes.
And
go ahead.
The worst thing about Diet Coke is that it tastes like regular Pepsi.
I wouldn't know. I'm sorry. I am not a soda drinker, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you knew,
hence the pearly white teeth.
Never have been. So gotta thank my mom for that one. But yes, that's another thing I would probably say to anyone who wants to get started is just if it's got a bunch of ingredients on it, it's probably not healthy for you. Especially if you can't understand or read any of them, it makes just gibberish. Probably shouldn't be putting it in your body.
If it's more than 4 syllables, put it down.
Right.
Yeah.
If it looks Latin, it's not healthy.
Correct. Or hate to break it to you, but if it's got a commercial somewhere, whether on the internet or TV.
That's great to me. In the Norwegian countries and actually in Europe, there's no medicine commercials. It's banned. It's outlawed. They won't let you have one.
What?
Really?
Yeah, without naked people in the news all the time. It's crazy. But they will not have like you can't advertise aspirin or heart medication. It's illegal. I
Wow.
think it's part of the government pays for healthcare, but they actually kind of want the people healthier because it's expensive if they're all sick. So it is absolutely illegal to have all these medicine commercials we have. When Europeans move here, they're like, "Are your drug dealers running your country?" Like, oh, pretty much.
Kind of.
Wow.
Kind of, but
You mind your own business.
exactly. But it's
You
illegal
don't
to have
want to
these
know
medicine
how the
commercials.
hot dogs are made.
But it's so
They really
stunning because
don't.
we get here, you leave the country for a while and you come back and you just realize how inundated we are all day, every day. We have this medication. There are all these fake labels on everything. Like you go to Germany, there's like 3 brands of cereal. That's it.
What?
But there's
That
not
sounds
like
like communism.
East Germany
So
was
little.
like it's for like the East Germany. There is no options for anything. It's all East communist stuff. But at the same time, there's not 50 flavors of something pretending to be varying levels of healthy. It's no artificial sweeteners or fat free or dairy free or gluten free. It's just like this is what you get. Eat it or don't.
Wow.
But they don't have this culture of fake health, of just pretending
Right.
all this stuff's healthy. Like we talked about earlier, fat free doesn't.
It's
I mean,
easy
you better
when
off having the fat than the fat free because they had to put something in it to make it taste okay to an American.
But
Yes.
it's easy when you're born just automatically looking like a Greek god. The Germans are beautiful people.
It depends on which part you're in. I was in Dresden,
Really?
Germany, in North part. The women are like 3. I'm 6'1", and women are like 6'3". I mean,
I don't think
everyone
I've
is
ever
taller
seen
than
an
me.
ugly German.
Gosh.
It was uncanny. Oh, I can introduce you. Let me say his ex-girlfriend. I don't know if I know the number still.
Forgive us, Jesus.
Actually, that German girl was a model, and the Italian girl probably was too. But but anyway, I was a short one. I'm 6'1". I'm looking at everybody like, hello up there, and they all wear boots because it's like we're snowing all the time. So like a 1-inch heel on everybody. But it was strange. But they all eat bread all day, all the time.
Yep.
And they're not overly medicated like we are, and everything is like there's one brand of everything. There's like one type of cereal, but it's not all this. Everything's pretending to be healthy to the point of making you nauseous just to walk to the store.
Right.
So it's a whole culture shock. Moving back, like being Italian, Tierney, you're from New York, right? So you're an
Yes.
actual legit Italian culture. Lots of Italians. They cook Italian food like they always did, and then you go out to like the South or something. Everything's like a fast food franchise.
Mm.
It's almost it's shocking almost
And fried.
and fried, and the lack of actual food is got to be disturbing when you grew up in that kind of climate, that environment of family with a lot of ethnic ties and ethnic foods to just go
Yes.
out into America in general and be like, what are y'all eating?
And my aunt in New York, they still get together every year and make homemade raviolis,
Oh,
like from scratch.
are they looking to adopt?
I was
I
going to
hate
say, do you think they could give us like a heads up next time, or are
Right.
they just going to be rude about it?
They haven't even taught me. Apparently, I have to go back up there in order to learn. So,
Oh, yeah.
It's like a
that's
ninja
really
clan.
not
You have to
worth
be
a
born
recipe.
into the family.
yeah.
They'll send assassins after you if you give away the secret. This you get jumped by 3 dudes in black suits and rolling pans.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you coming by today.
Oh, thank you guys. This has been a lot of fun. And you guys took all my nerves away. I had some butterflies about this, but this has been great. So thank you both very much.
Oh,
It
you're welcome.
wasn't
You did a
me. It
great
was
job.
all your dream guy, Brian.
Oh, you did great, super great, and your personality actually helped us calm our nerves down a little bit because I'm
Yeah.
so nervous on these things. See, I'm nervous now. These things still, I'm the one that's nervous instead of the guest. So you did great, and we really appreciate the insight and just the perspective because it's so discouraging to most of us
Well,
to have this Greek god telling you get with it. Like in the
Yeah.
Marine Corps now. I'm not signing up for this.
yeah.
So just
Yep.
personality and perspective and just the general approach is very much appreciated. And I think everyone who signs up for coaching with you would appreciate it too.
Well, good. I'm very glad. I'm here. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to reach out.
All right. Well, God bless everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk Shalom.
Shalom, me homies.